I don't know about you, but as for myself, I am trying to navigate through this life thing as best as I can. And sometimes with navigating, you often have to lean on the wise or people that are more experienced, be it in a particular field or they are older and more mature than you are. So they would be best suited to give you some life advice. But often people use these idiomatic expressions or proverbs to kind of direct you or advise you instead of, just stick to my situation. But don't get me wrong, most of them are really, really good. Like, for example, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, or don't count your eggs before they crack or hatch. Is it the chickens? Or birds of the same feather flock together, etc. Those are the common ones, but there are some that are not per se proverbs or idiomatic expressions, but are commonly known and are given as advice that I'm just like, oh, hell no. I'm going to share my top 4 with you right now, so do stay tuned. My first one is probably my worst one, and people like to use this piece of advice when it comes to life and moving on with life. It's when people say to you, you must learn to forgive and forget, because that's the only way you can be able to heal and move forward and not harbor resentment and peace. Firstly, I don't understand how the two are included in one sentence. I believe that the two are mutually exclusive. Forgiveness is one thing, forgetting is another one. How do we then compartmentalize the two together and think that that's like a brainwave of a solution in terms of how you deal with certain experiences with certain people in your life? I've just never believed that you have to forgive and forget. That's a lot to ask. Forgiving on its own is very subjective, and even forgetting is very subjective. Forgiving is subjective because it's relative to a particular context, be it a friend, a boyfriend, a family member, etc. And it also depends on the level of hurt that is associated with the need to forgive. Even there, guys, I'm just like, child, you don't have to forgive everybody. Not everybody deserves your forgiveness. And people are so quick to say, no, if you don't forgive, then you're the one who lives or harbors resentment and you don't heal and you don't have inner peace. And bruh, no. Some of us need to learn the hard way that, you know what, this person really crossed this boundary. Obviously, context matters, but they crossed a boundary that I'm just like, that makes you inhumane. You know what I mean? And I'm not about to pretend that that didn't happen for the sake of being deemed to have forgiven you. I don't understand. Like, if somebody really hurts another person, I don't see why you should even be forced to acknowledge the person. Why? For me, forgiveness is applicable to self more than anyone else. I owe it to myself to practice forgiving. Yes, very important for my own healing so that I can move on at peace with my life and in so doing not harbor resentment. But I am not obligated to forgive anybody. Look, I know that there's some spiritual and religious aspects to it, and that's fine, but it's not applicable to me. I'm just like, mm-mm. Then we come to forgetting, and I'm just like, not only are you expected to forgive this person or the act thereof, but you're supposed to forget the level of pain that they inflicted in your life, the level of trauma, the anxiety, whatever it is, you're supposed to forget it as well. That's a tough ask. And sometimes it's necessary to not forget because we often forget and then we fall back into the same trap of attracting the very kind of people back into our lives that continue to inflict pain and hurt. Sometimes people need to burn you like this, and you need to be like, I don't ever want to see you ever again in my life. And you keep it moving and you forgive yourself, and God forgives you, and you're good. Okay, the second life advice that I completely disagree with is the notion that in order to be fulfilled or to be whole as a person, you need to be able to focus not only on the things that you are good at and that you enjoy, but also try and improve yourself on some of the things that you're not so great at. No, why would I do that? That is the worst advice I've ever received ever, because people have different strengths and different weaknesses. And if you're telling me to shift my attention from what I'm really great at and could thrive and grow and be successful in, to start working on my weaknesses and focus there, to hell with my self-esteem, to hell with the fact that I'm only ever going to be average at best at doing that particular function. No. Let's try and balance it out, because we need to be holistically perfect. Nobody's perfect. When you give someone advice like that, for me, it just sounds like you're expecting perfection, and nobody is. People have different strengths and people have different weaknesses. I think our jobs, more than anything, is that if you've been given a talent, an ability, harness it. More than looking at your weaknesses, grow it, because that's going to come effortlessly with you anyways, because you enjoy it. Do you know how hard it is to do something that you don't like? Well, let's say, for example, you are a YouTube content creator and you enjoy being more in front of the camera than behind the camera. The likelihood of you taking up the editing skill is higher than somebody who doesn't enjoy doing anything on YouTube, for example. The likelihood of you trying to improve it, at best being average at it, is high. But chances are you're going to really try and shine a lot more on your presence on camera, and in so doing you're constantly encouraged to grow, and you can then afford a video editor. Then you don't have to do it. It goes for numbers as well. Not everybody likes numbers. Some people are okay with them, but they don't like it. And with time, when your business grows, you can get an accountant to do those things. It's like me starting a YouTube channel that's about cooking when I know I'm not the best cook. I'm okay, but I'm not great at it, and I don't particularly enjoy it. So why would I focus all my attention and effort on trying to harness a capability that I know I'm not talented at? There are people far more talented and far more passionate about that. And this particular example is very common amongst leaders. A lot of leaders want to shy away from identifying an individual's strengths and pushing them towards capitalizing on that strength, but instead would rather have them learn and develop or improve in another capability because that's what they want. No, it doesn't work like that. And even parenthood, I think true leadership is about understanding that each and every one of your employees or your children is different. And instead of having them compete against each other, you harness that difference by making sure that you help them constantly grow and work on that, because then it's not work. Inevitably, with time, as they develop, they're going to be so skilled that money would come, success will come, but not when they're busy. When I'm just busy doing a cooking channel, hey, well, stop it. The third one is this notion of people actually really thinking that good deeds actually make someone a good person. No, they don't. There are some really evil people out there that do some inhumane and insane things and still do good deeds and are philanthropic to kind of ease their dirty conscience. For me, a good heart is what makes up a good person, because once you have a good heart, you're inevitably going to do good deeds. It's like an output of having a good heart. And a good heart for me entails all the soft skills that somebody would possess: respect, accountability, sincerity, sensitivity, empathy, understanding, etc. Those are qualities that make up a good person. The acts thereafter are exactly that: deeds, in how they demonstrate and how they show their good nature. The goodness of a person is in how their value system works and how they, with time, have grown to have certain qualities that really make them a good person. And generally, when a person is good, no one needs to actually say that. And genuinely, when a person is good, everybody can see it. The same sentiment is shared by most people that come across that individual. You don't have this thing where all of these philanthropic deeds and money is poured out into these projects to help the economy, help the environment, help the poor. And that's beautiful, nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it to kind of ease your conscience because you're a monster at home, or you deep down you know you're evil to the core, that doesn't make you a good person. I'm so sorry. The last piece of advice that's common that I really don't like is when people say good intentions matter. What? Intentions? Intentions? Who cares about your intentions if they were never actioned on? If they were never actualized? Who cares? Hmm? Make that make sense. Make it make sense how your intentions would matter then. It's like somebody saying to you, oh my gosh, you have so much potential, and doing absolutely nothing to help you harness that potential. In fact, that's the worst compliment that you, so-called compliment, that anyone can give you. And that's exactly the same kind of feeling I have towards people saying, but my intentions were good though. Who cares? Who cares if your intentions were good? If your intentions didn't equate to actions, then they were just that. You intended to do something, but you actually just didn't do it. And chances are you're only just saying your intentions were good to kind of, again, make yourself feel better or ease your conscience because you didn't actually come around to doing it. You know, people that are actually action their intentions don't have to say things like that. So you will never have me believe that good intentions on their own, without them being actioned and carried out and seeing the results or grabbing opportunities to action those intentions, matter. To who? Bible. No, guys. So the fastest or quickest way to hell is paved by good intentions. Said what I said. Anyway, guys, we've come to the end of the video. Those are my 4 life lessons or advice that people like to commonly use that I just blatantly don't agree with. So let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. What are some of your commonly used advices, be it proverbs or idioms or expressions that people are commonly using that we are all familiar with, that you're just like, no? Or let me know your thoughts on the video. What are your thoughts? Because I do know that we don't all look at life the same way, so I'd be very, very interested in finding out what it is that you think and engaging with you as my community. As usual, thank you so much, guys, for your support. I really, 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 really appreciate it. The channel is growing. I feel the love. I feel the interaction. Continue to like, to comment, to subscribe, to share the videos, because I'm making these videos with the hope of touching or striking a nerve, a good nerve, with someone out there, even if it's just one individual. So please engage. It would really help me. Until next time, love you lots. Bye.